right, Bobby. The announcement came down yesterday, as you said it might, that Ryan Day named Julian Sayin the starting quarterback.
It's interesting. I thought it was going to.
Yes.
And then I talked to some folks over there, and like, well, he hadn't really said anything, hadn't talked about it. I go, I think there's an anticipation. Last week he said he'd like to come out of this weekend with a depth chart, and I think people believe that means he's going to have a starting quarterback. And then, alas, he took to the mic and, without really much fanfare, just said, yeah.
Are you surprised he announced it now? Just because, say, like, the competitive advantage is maybe to wait?
I thought he may try to keep that internal and say, we've made a decision in here. But the thing is, like, all that stuff gets out, and people are going to talk about it anyway. So I understand, to a certain degree, why he just did it and made it public. He could have waited, I guess, until game week or maybe till Wednesday and just kind of operated as if, and the team could have probably figured it out. But it probably gets out at that point anyway. So I don't know if it's that big of a deal.
Here's what Ryan Day said yesterday. He said that Julian Sayin's consistency was the difference. Here's Coach Day.
You're always looking for consistency and taking care of the football. And when you start with practice one in the spring and then kind of do study on the entire, growth over 6 months, you see that there was a lot of growth made. And you look at the numbers and the production, we felt like, he was, in a situation where he was ready to go play in this game. We also feel like Lincoln's ready to play. But, overall, Julian was more consistent.
And it sounded like, Bobby, there's some people think that this was decided a long time ago. I know that
I would not.
You disagree with that.
I would firmly disagree with that. And, after watching this, I mean, Ryan felt he had enough information to make the decision, but that was like heading into yesterday. I was like, I wonder if he feels confident enough that he's seen enough to look at this and have conviction about his decision. I mean, Ryan's done a good job of selecting quarterbacks, and I'm not saying he's making the wrong choice by any stretch. I was curious, and he obviously watches all the film and sits down there with all the guys, but Lincoln did a lot of good things, had a lot of good days. Julian did a lot of good things, had a lot of good days. There was some inconsistency, and apparently Julian, as per Ryan, was the more consistent one, which is what you probably lean into of who's going to give you, that best baseline.
When I was talking to Tim May yesterday, and it came out, and I just stumbled upon this. I was thinking out loud, just kind of stream of conscious stuff. But anyway,
scary.
I know. And he asked me, do you think Julian's the right guy? And I said to him that I don't know if he's the right guy for the job, but I believe enough in Ryan Day that he will choose the right guy. You know what I mean? Like that's like, I don't know how much I believe in Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz, whatever. Like, I'm not saying I don't know enough about either one of them or seen enough of them.
You haven't seen enough about them.
But I've got a tremendous amount of faith and trust that Ryan Day knows what the hell he's doing when it comes to quarterbacks. And
there would be no evidence to lead you to the contrary.
Right. There's no Austin Mockerman being named a starting quarterback in Ryan Day's
He's never
tenure.
made a decision where you've wondered why that guy was the quarterback.
Right. But I do believe Lincoln Kienholz is also very talented. Here is Ryan Day talking about Lincoln's role this year.
He was great in the meeting that we talked about. He's he knows in his heart he's going to play this year. And so he's going to prepare to play in the first game. And we know it's a long season. So, I'm sure, he's a competitor. I'm sure he wants to play in the first game, but I wouldn't say he's discouraged. I thought he had a good practice out here today. He had good energy. The team knows that we're going to need him. So, and he knows. Again, I thought that was, excellent leadership on his end, and it's a long season.
Can't be an easy thing for Lincoln to hear. Maybe Lincoln had an inkling it was coming, like it was that maybe he kind of...
maybe not. I mean, he's in the meetings, and Ryan's brutally honest. I'm sure him and Billy and, Heartline, those conversations that they'd had, and you could maybe see it or kind of feel it. I don't know. But what was impressive is I saw, the back half of practice, and I'm guessing Ryan told him, the guys prior to practice, and I would not have known that based upon watching his interactions and how he practiced. So what Ryan said, I mean, that speaks to the character of what he is and the leader that he still can be, even though he is not the starting quarterback. And the same thing with Julian, like watching him practice, it didn't appear to me like Ryan had said anything. Both those guys came out and they looked like they were competing and still playing, at a high level.
Yeah, Lincoln will get opportunities this year, no doubt about it. Hopefully it's not because of Sayin's poor play or an injury or something like that, but nonetheless, with the way the season will play out, he will. And I think he mentioned something about also having some special packages in there maybe for Lincoln. Lincoln and Julian have different skill sets, different strengths. But, yeah, let's do this. We'll play. Ryan Day talked about some of the traits that he sees in Julian. Here is Coach Day.
Smart, poise, has good composure, can see it, has good timing, and has really built command and confidence as time has gone on. And so, you see the traits, you see the accuracy, you see the ball getting out of his hand quickly, but the ability to run the offense, get us into the right play, make good decisions, throw it away when we need to, and ultimately take care of the football. But he can fit the ball into tight spaces when he needs to. He's got a good feel for the pocket, and so all those things, were areas that we recognized that he's taken steps forward here during the preseason.
Yeah, being the starting quarterback for Ohio State with those weapons, and then you figure next year you've got Chris Henry Jr. coming in here. It's a hell of a gig. This opportunity. I know there's a lot. I'm not saying that they think about this right now, but these next 2 years can make Julian Sayin a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to play well.
Right.
The thing is, there's the expectation that he has to play well. You mentioned all of the weapons around him.
Yeah.
And so whoever's playing quarterback at Ohio State, there's always an anticipation that guy should be in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy every year because of all the players that are surrounded you.
Yeah.
Like you have all of the accessories, if you will, to be able to have success at an incredibly high level.
Yeah.
And so I see that and I'm like, okay, what are we talking about? You should definitely be able to go out there and be able to compete and do everything you need to do and set the world on fire.
Emily brought up in the chat, and I was going to play this also, Max Klare, and what a nice addition that is to this offense. Here is Ryan Day talking about Max.
Really talented, explosive when the ball's in his hands, and you saw last year what he did, and so it's been fun to watch that tight end group grow and watch what he can do. I think it's been good for him. I think he would tell you, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but going through a training camp and a spring ball at Ohio State was different for him. And he's really been pushed in a lot of areas, and he's shown a lot of growth. And, he's become a better football player every day, and excited to see him play on Saturday.
So, Bobby, I heard, Ryan Day telling Max Klare they're going through this offseason, the preseason things, all this stuff, and how different it is. I heard Bo Atkinson talk about that also. What a different type of experience it was for him getting ready for the season, being at Ohio State. Okay. Is it something that other schools can copy?
I mean, here's the thing. You often imitated, rarely replicated.
Right.
Is what I always say, because the power is in the people. So that it's tough to replicate the human element of it. Something that getting the right people in here and then having the right people oversee it and then building this. I mean, this is an extension, with the infrastructure of this, with, the training staff, the strength staff, the recruiting and front office staff. A lot of those guys were kind of here during Urban in some role or another. And so they've been able to build this. And then Ryan's put his own spin on it here the last 7 years. Going in and starting this up, it's hard. And the thing is, the winning justifies it.
Sure.
So that's what the hardest thing is. You can do a lot of things, but if you don't win, people are not going to buy in because they're not going to believe your processes are working. And so they've won at a high level here. They've won a national championship. They've always been good under Ryan. And the players have always been successful and been able to go on and achieve great things. And so because of all those things together in concert, you're able to kind of do things culturally here that you might not be able to do at a lot of other places.